guys, how are you? Bonus episode. Happy Thursday, February 6th. Here we are. Right here in Los Angeles, California. How you guys doing, man? You having a good week? I'm back to normal finally. I think I'm 100%. My voice is good. I can talk. I can sing. I can sing. Little Axl Rose there. But yeah, feeling good, man. Feeling good. Got a little rest the last couple days. And just trying to get myself back together. Thanks for all the happy birthday tweets and stuff. That was great. You guys rocked. I had a fun birthday. It was low key. Had a nice steak. Went to the steakhouse here in Los Angeles. If you haven't been to Cut, it's high dollar. But you got to treat yourself once in a while, right? Just get out there. Went to Cut. If you're not from L.A., visiting L.A., go to Cut, Wolfgang Puck. The reason I love it, here's the deal. You're just eating a fantastic steak in this, like, high-dollar, posh room. You look around, you might see, like, you'll see celebrities in there. Like, I saw Britney Spears one time when I was in there. But you're eating a steak, and they're just fucking rocking Zeppelin in there. They play rock. I mean, they were playing Van Halen 1 while I was in there. What better thing than eating a steak on your birthday and just listening to Van Halen 1? In this posh room, I mean, you look over and you just see, like, you ever see that scene from Caddyshack where they're at the, you know, hey, baby, Rodney's grabbing, like, everyone. It's like that ballroom dinner party. It's like that. But then just throw Van Halen and some steaks in the mix, man. So it's cool. Go check it out. Hats off to you, Wolfgang Puck, if you're the one that chose the vibe of the room, which I know you did, but I'm just saying. Rock and steaks. It's like you're in Wisconsin, but right in Beverly Hills. Snobbiest area ever. Beverly Hills isn't even that like hot anymore. Like, rich people live at other places now. Just a heads up, if you come and you get clowned on one of those tour buses and they're like, Beverly Hills, it's cheese, man. But this place is great, so it's worth going in, you know. So that was my birthday. I had a steak, ate some gelato, and then went and saw Wolf of Wall Street. That's how behind I am. Thing came out Christmas, and I'm seeing it 2 months later or whatever. A month later. What a great film, man. Usually I love Scorsese. I love him. Raging Bull, hands down in the top 5 films of all time for me. Raging Bull, what a masterpiece. Taxi Driver, I mean, come on. But, I didn't run out to see this one. I don't get any sleep. I work 7 days a week comedy, then I podcast during the day. I'm just tore up. I love movies, and I don't get to them enough. And I don't like to watch them at my house. I'm a weirdo. If I don't see it at the theater, then I usually just don't see it. Because I just enjoy that big screen. And I like to go during the day when no one's around, texting and shit. I even go to the ArcLight, which is like $17. People go, oh, I don't go there. Too much money. Good. That's great. You know, Gerard and I talked about it a long time ago, about a year ago on one of the episodes here. We go to the ArcLight because people, you know, the texters and talkers won't go there. It's too much money. They like the $6 movie over in Burbank. That's for you, talkers. Fuck off. Man. Yeah, what about that guy shot a guy for texting in Florida last month? That's a little extreme, dude. Turned out the guy was texting his nanny to make sure his kids were all right. Fuck, that's fucked. But I can see it, man. People get rage, man. It's text rage. It's the new thing, you know? It's like road rage, but you're in a movie theater. You got like 3 just dicks in front of you. I don't even know why they're there. They pay to go see a movie, And then just boom, they're on their phone the whole time. What the fuck are you doing? Or a comedy show? You're texting in a comedy show? That's just, I don't get it. You're out. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm fucking hooked on my phone. And it's horrible. It's like, I quit cocaine, but I can't quit this phone. I don't know what it is, but they proved it. The phone is like, it touches the same spot as like heroin or cocaine. It hits dopamines in your brain. And they even proved that some people are so addicted, they'll text like 20 people if they're not getting any text just to fire up a text. Like a conversation, like, ooh, who's hitting me? Ooh, yeah. Ooh, look. Oh, yeah. I'm at the movies. I've gotten some fights with friends if they text during the movie. I just fire them as movie partners, My buddy Steve, he fucking texts during the movie. I don't like going to the movies with him. You're fired as my movie buddy. Don't text during the movie, man. Fucking crazy. Where you at the movies? Oh, damn, I was going to tell you had $1 million up the street, but you got to text me right now or you don't get it. There's nothing on there. Anyway, that's my rate. Anyway, I had a great birthday. Shit. Couple things before I start the episode. It's fucking cold here, man. Cold in LA. Yeah, I know you guys, if you listen in the Midwest or whatever, you're going, fuck you. It's not cold. We're in a snow drift here. Snowing all over America. But man, it's like 44 last night. I'm riding my motorcycle. I ride everywhere. I don't have a car. So 44 turns into like 30 when I'm out. That's fucking freezing. I got to get me some heated gear on my motorcycle. I need heated grips. They got they got heated grips. They got heated seats for motorcycles. Heated outfits like a vest and pants. They even got like heated socks. Everything, man. I need it. I'm going to head to LA Harley. They'll hook me up. They got all the heated stuff. LA Harley rocks, man. I go there. I'm going to go over there and get me some heated grips. You need anything for your Harley Davidson, no matter where you're at in America, call them up. They'll hook you up. They'll beat the prices. Call them. Los Angeles Harley Davidson. Fullerton, California. 2635 West Orangethorpe Avenue, right by Disneyland. If you're a dad, drop the kids off, head over there. Buy a bike while they're riding the Matterhorn. Right? Just go, hey, you were riding the Matterhorn, I'm riding my fat boy. Anyway, go see them, LA Harley, right in Los Angeles. You can find them online, Los Angeles Harley Davidson of Anaheim.com. Love them. I need some heated shit. Got to get it going. You guys watch Super Bowl, of course. We talked a little bit about it on Monday, but what about this Chili Peppers thing? People are like, they weren't plugged in. They weren't plugged in, man. Who cares? Those guys have been plugged in for 30 fucking years. Those guys play instruments. They didn't play instruments for 2 minutes at the Super Bowl, which notoriously sounds like shit. Anybody remember the Stones? The worst mix ever. Horrible. Fuck it, man. You know what you're getting. You're going to complain about the Chili Peppers, but you'll pay $250 to go see Britney Spears in Vegas lip sync? Fuck you. I'm just saying, people are so stupid, man. Get over it. Chili Peppers play instruments. They always have. And that's how it goes, man. When you're a band around that long, you get to do whatever you want. They could have went out there naked with those socks and no instruments. That would have been fucking hot, right? Just a dick slip. Instead of a nip slip, the 10-year anniversary of the nip slip, just Flea comes out and you just see his fucking dick. Crazy. Anyway, Chili Peppers, you rule. I don't know who your guitar player is. Nobody does, I don't think. But you three, the core of the group, fuck yeah. Light the candles, man. You guys rock. Couple more things. Let's see. Gabby Hoffman, you been watching Girls? Yeah, I watch Girls. Believe it or not. And I tell people. Gabby Hoffman, once again, just killing. She was on, Louis C.K.'s show last season. Played his girlfriend in an episode or two. She's fantastic. She is killing it on Girls. I guess that's about it. Thanks, guys. I love you guys. Miss you. I'm going to tell you who the guest is right now. This is a great guest. Super funny person. Sarah Tiana. Yeah, I got a comedian. Another comedian. I actually did this show a while ago, and in the mix of getting on to all things comedy, a few episodes got put on the back burner because the thing wasn't up and running for a couple months on all things comedy. So now everything, of course, is great, and I'm breaking out the episodes. I'm going to tell you who Sarah Tiana is real quick. She wrote on The Burn, Jeffrey Ross's Burn last season. She writes on The Roast. She wrote on the recent roast of James Franco. She's super funny. She's got a super cool dog that I call Paul Newman because it has crazy blue eyes. That's not the dog's name. I'm weird. I name people's dogs. They have a name, and I just call them a different name. But Paul Newman. She's got a dog, Paul Newman. Sarah is incredible. She's done 10 military tours for the troops, including one USO tour that she'll tell you about with Jeffrey Ross and Adam Duritz from the Counting Crows. We talk all kinds of music. She loves country music, and I do too. I like country music. People go, oh, fuck country. That's dumb. Country people play instruments. They write their own songs, you know? So give it a try, man. You can't hate all country music. That's impossible. You're saying you don't like Johnny Cash, you don't like Willie Nelson, and then they go, oh, well, those guys, I mean, they're cool. Yeah, there's other guys. Jamie Johnson, I love him. Check him out. Guy's a full-blown outlaw, writes great records. And I love country-flavored music. We talk about it on here. She's a hard worker. She's earned everything she's gotten. She's passed at the store. She's been doing comedy for 11 years. You're going to love this episode. Sit back, tune in, and say hi to Sarah after the episode. Oh, one last thing. My boy John Bernthal killed it on Wolf of Wall Street. He was on an episode last year of Let There Be Talk. John Bernthal, if you saw Wolf of Wall Street, plays the pill seller, the kind of Italian-looking guy in the sweatsuit. He was also on Walking Dead the first season. He's done a shitload of movies. He's one of the best actors I've ever seen. I guarantee this guy is going to be a humongous star for the next 10 years. The work he's doing is phenomenal. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't heard it. Oh, actually, it's not on here. I'm sorry. It will be, though. I'll post it up. It was on an old poolside. Anyway, John Bernthal, you rule. See you guys. Delraisers, keep rocking. Leave those reviews on iTunes. Subscribe. Tell a friend. And if you want to donate to the podcast, DeanDelray@yahoo.com. Email me. Or just say hi. Whatever. Bye, guys. Rock out.
And the people laughing like they all know, like they know. If I close my eyes, will you walk away? Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Here we are, another episode of Let There Be Talk. I think you're the first woman on the show.
No way.
I swear.
I'm the first woman on your podcast?
Yeah, I think so, because so that'll serve as two things. You're the first woman, and then all the like dirty metal, heavy metal guys that listen to the show will be like, yeah, chick. Oh, talk to me.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
All fucking weird.
Just like wail to you. Like, I don't listen to like heavy metal music. Is that going to be a problem?
No, it doesn't matter. It's not about heavy metal music. It's just about fucking life.
Life? I can't believe I feel like I'm always the only woman on like a lineup.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well,
should we tell them my name?
yeah. So, yeah. Well, sometimes I get into that. Sometimes I let them guess.
Just keep them
Sarah
wondering.
Tiana.
Yeah. Dean
Sarah
Delray.
Tia ST.
ST.
Not to be confused with Sarah T. You ever see that? The old Linda Blair played an alcoholic in the 70s. Sarah T.
No way.
That's a crazy old film. It was like
That's
one of those
really-
after-school specials. And at the end, she's like, I'm an alcoholic. My name's Sarah T. You know?
Oh my gosh. How do
Yeah.
you, that's amazing.
You know
I was
what?
always Sarah, like people used to say nobody does it like Sarah T.
Sarah
like
T. Sarah Lee. Yeah.
But that was it.
I remember that movie just because Linda Blair scares me from The Exorcist.
Yeah.
So to me, she was that person.
Wait, so this was post
It
Exorcist?
was after, yeah. So I think she was about 16. She was kind of hot for a minute, around 16, 17.
Yeah.
Kind of that weirdness of 70s, like Christy McNichol from 8 is Enough.
Yeah.
You know, weird shit.
Yeah.
Then later she's lesbian. You're like, bummer.
Wait,
Yeah, Christy McNichol's lesbian.
but it's
Not Linda
Blair.
Blair, no, but I'm just saying there were these kind of girls that were around in the 70s
Right.
that they'd put in those mags, like 16 or whatever magazine, like that would have like Sean Cassidy or Peter Frampton. You know, they got the same mags now as Justin Timberlake or Bieber or anyone with a shirt off.
Yeah, any teen idol. Type thing. I used to have all those New Kids on the Block. I would tear the posters out of those magazines and put them on my wall.
New Kids?
New Kids was my thing. I used to like cry and write letters to Jordan Knight.
Wow. You didn't like the gangster, Donnie?
No, everybody liked Donnie and I didn't. I liked Jordan. Wow. And then a lot of people liked the baby, Joey or Joe, whatever.
You're talking to the wrong guy. I only know Donnie because I sold him a motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
And he was a cool guy.
Yeah.
Actually, this is about 5 years ago. And when you think of Donnie, you just think like, you know, like he was a huge star. And then Mark Wahlberg just fucking passed him, his own brother. But Donnie's gangster, man. He does cool TV.
Well, remember him in Sixth Sense?
Yeah, exactly.
That's like one of his like big comeback.
Yeah, he's a cool guy too, you know?
He plays a lot of tough parts.
Yeah. So. He is kind of Hollywood, though. He gives you the old, let's go riding, bro, and then you never hear from him. Oh. One of those, which I understand. You know, guys just say shit like that. But I wanted to ride with him because he was kind of an interesting dude. He was a cool guy.
But when you ride with someone, you're not really having a conversation.
Well, you go somewhere. Like, say you ride for the day out to, like, Malibu. You have lunch and stuff, and then it's fun, you know?
At the Net?
I don't really go there, but I've been there, you know. I like to eat at the Malibu Country Kitchen. It's in that Malibu area. They got a fucking mean corned beef sandwich.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I like the owners a lot.
Okay. I used to teach at a Jewish camp. I'm not Jewish. I was the only shiksa there, but like at called Ginling Hilltop Camp.
Right.
You have to clap after that. And then and the Net was right below it. So we used to go down to the Net on like our off days to get food that wasn't kosher.
Yeah, like really bad food. Like
fried fish.
Yeah, deep fried fish they're known for.
Yeah, it's just all fried.
There's always some good motorcycle crashes out there too. If you want to see a good motorcycle crash, which most people do. You go out there on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Just eat lunch and sit on the outdoor area. Mm-hmm. And watch these fools drink beer and then try to wheelie for girls that don't give a fuck. And they crash. It's pretty fucking funny.
But a lot of the people who stop there are people who've like rented a motorcycle to drive down the coast. So they're not real motorcycle
They're
guys.
not, but the other guys get out there and try to be like, I'm badass. You ever see Sons of Anarchy? Check this out. Oh! And then they crash.
I saw a guy doing a wheelie on the freeway in the HOV lane one time. It really freaked
all the time.
me out. When I was in college, I dated a stuntman, and because I worked at Six Flags. Don't be jealous.
Over here, Venice?
No, I mean
Venice.
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 Santa Clarita.
Six Flags, Venice? Yeah.
Valencia.
No, which one?
I grew up in Georgia. I was born in Northern California, but I grew up in Georgia, so it was Six Flags over Georgia in Atlanta, and he was a stunt rider in the Batman Stunt Show, and his brother-in-law was like Ricky Carmichael, like this big, like
Fuck yeah.
So he was like a big like motocross racer and stuff like that, and so he did the Batman Stunt Show, and he convinced me to get on a motorcycle, which I was like, no, I'm not into them. Like I really don't want to go. I was like, well, if I go, just don't scare me. And of course he did. We got pulled over for going too fast. Like it was so scary. I've never been on a motorcycle since.
Now, was he
Actually,
Batman?
I have been on
Was
one.
he Batman?
No, he was one of the henchmen.
Oh, I was going to ask if he ever slept with you as Batman.
No, I did end up dating and sleeping with Batman down the road.
Wow.
When I wasn't working there anymore.
I love it. You just went through the stunt show.
Well, it's so incestuous, when you're in college and you're working at a place, you end up dating like everybody that you work with.
Yeah, because you're there. Well, we don't date, and you work with me. So
well, not anymore.
See, that's your thing. See, the Batman fucked it up for the comics.
No, I dated a comic for 5 years, and I haven't
which one
dated
was
one
it?
since. Aaron Cater.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. Where he got married to a Canadian girl, right?
Yeah, Lebanese Canadian.
Yeah. How are you guys?
I was invited to the wedding. Yeah.
You guys friends?
Yeah, very much so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he invited me, and I really wanted to go just so I could maybe get a joke out of it. But I was in San Jose that weekend, so I couldn't go.
Well, I thought you were from Arizona.
No, my parents live there now.
Oh, okay. They retired there?
Yes, they retired. Well, they're going to retire there. They moved there just to begin their retirement. So my mom was able to transfer a job out there. They just wanted something new.
What do they do?
My mom works for a company called Henkel, which is they make the chemicals that go on metal, and they also own Dial soap. So
they own Dial soap?
Yeah.
Wait, you guys are rich?
No. the company owns
the company.
Dial.
I was like, wait a minute. You're like Earl Skakel or something.
No. I grew up very. My dad was actually like the Pepperidge Farm guy growing up.
Yeah.
So we went into debt when my dad bought that distributorship. So he had like the cookie truck and everything.
He did?
It was really, it sounds awesome because you're like, those are great cookies. But when you're 12, they're not good cookies. You just want an Oreo. You don't want a Nantucket,
Yeah.
And
I
he
like
would get
the raspberry one.
Oh.
What is that one?
The raspberry with the jelly center?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember what those are
That
called.
shit's great.
The Milanos were always really popular. And the goldfish, my teachers loved it when I brought goldfish to school.
God, I hate those. Yeah, I hate goldfish and I hate Triscuits. Not the same company, but...
Yeah.
And I don't like Cheeto... Or no, I like
Cheez-Its?
Cheetos. Cheez-Its. Ew. Fuck Cheez-Its.
Really?
They're gross.
They're all pretty good. I try not to eat dairy anymore, but
you know what I hate the most, and I love candy. My buddy's dad used to like work in the garage on his car at night, like get out of here, you fucking assholes. He's like one of those biker mechanics. He'd eat those circus peanuts.
Oh yeah,
the marshmallow candy.
See, I like those when they're hard or frozen. Yeah, or stale when they're stale.
They're always stale because no one fucking buys those things. They're in a truck stop forever.
I loved those. I think I was like one of the. I haven't eaten one in so long.
We should get some tonight at the store.
I
and
know.
Eat them.
I love candy too. You're obsessed. I'm like a huge candy.
What kind of candy you like?
Always sour candies and
me
licorice.
too. I like the sour watermelon.
Watermelon. I bought those for you before at Pink Dot.
Yeah, you did. You did. I don't like the sour kids because I don't want any of the colors except red. Yellow's gross. Green's
terrible.
Gross.
They're also not that sour.
Yeah, they're
which
not
I don't
good.
like. So, but there's these new Jolly Rancher chewy candies that I
saw
love.
those,
They're so phenomenal because they're like intense flavor, and then I really like chewy sweet tarts, like chewy sprees.
Oh, those are great.
Like chewy runts, like all of those, like kind of.
Ari
like,
loves
tart.
candy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like.
Did you used to do drugs?
No.
That's weird because usually candy comes after drugs.
Oh yeah.
Because you just want sugar or
Definitely like because I was in the hospital for meningitis a couple years ago.
Whoa, what is that?
It's an infection in your spinal and brain fluid. I think I got it in Afghanistan when I was there.
Wow.
So
how do you get that? Like making out with soldiers?
It's really only transferable through saliva, but I was not making out with any soldiers. But
dirty forks or something, you think?
Well, in Afghanistan, they don't even have plumbing, really. They burn their feces. Everything is burned.
They burn shit?
Yeah.
Wait, they don't flush their shit? They just burn it?
They don't have flush. They don't have electricity.
So what do you shit into?
Well, most places would have a porta potty, but on some bases that we would visit, they wouldn't have porta potties because you can't. They had no way of emptying them because they were so far away from everything.
Right. Shit in a hole?
So yeah, what they had for women, they had pee tubes all over the camp for men, and then they had these stalls that are basically it's just like a cutout of like a seat.
Yeah.
And you bring in a wag bag, which it stands for like waste alleviation something.
Gross.
And you spread it around the toilet, and then you go to the bathroom in it, and then you put a gel in there, and then you seal it up, and then you walk over to the fire pit and throw it in.
Right.
Well, as a woman, I have to throw pee in there, so it's a really lightweight bag.
Wow.
So you would throw it at the fire, then it would fly out of it, and you're like running down the camp, like trying to pick up your stupid wag bag and like throw it back in the fire.
That's gross.
Yeah, so I think I probably got it just from the air over there. It's very easily
We'll go with that story.
Yeah.
I think in my mind you were sleeping with 3 soldiers
Yeah.
in a tent, and it was wild in Afghanistan.
First of all, I don't date guys that have roommates. That's a big thing.
Oh,
And,
yeah, right? Like, how old are you?
yeah,
It's
plus
like,
they're all 20-something years old, and
Yeah.
I'm 35. And also, I outrank them when I'm there, so I can't really...
you outrank them?
Yeah, so like if I were...
Performer outranks?
Yeah, because in order to get on the bases and to get clearance on all the planes and to stay in appropriate housing while we're overseas, they have to give us a rank.
Wow. And what's your ranking?
Our rank is a GS 14, I believe. GS 14 civilian, which is like basically a full bird colonel, like right below a general.
Wow.
So we can fly in any of the aircrafts. We can stay in like the nicer housing on the base. That's a little
Yep.
bit more secure. So
You mean the better tent?
well, we don't. Most of the
I'm
time,
just
we don't
fucking with
sleep
you.
in tents. I know. I was really, you know.
Well, I saw the Louis C.K. episode, you know?
Oh yeah. I didn't see that.
Yeah, so he goes to do the same thing,
A
the USO tours, and he thinks it's going to be some of the bigger ones or whatever, like you see, like, you know, big stage, thousands.
Yeah.
And they stop at one, and there's like 6 guys.
Nice.
Just in a tent in a mountain.
Yep.
And so they pop in and do a show for 6 guys. I was
That's
like, that's
amazing.
awesome.
But he didn't stay the night there. He
No,
can't
but
stay
what
the night
happens is in this episode, the helicopter starts to crash, which is pretty. So you know,
Yeah.
some people can look it up, but this show is great.
We were flying in when I was in Iraq. We flew in Black Hawks, which was so fun. And Black Hawks fly in twos.
What's that? The giant plane?
No, Black Hawks are really fast helicopters that
Oh
maneuver
no, I know
really
what the Black
quick.
Hawk is. Yeah, I know. Those are badass.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like jet copters.
They're like jet copters,
Yeah.
and so they fly in twos so that they can protect each other, and they also fly really low to the ground. They can't fly above like
because
5,000
of
feet.
radar. They're flying below
But they
radar.
also are doing to spot. They're spotters, so they're
Right.
looking for anybody that could possibly be aiming. Like one time when we were in Baghdad, I got they set off the flares,
Yeah.
and they go like, "Oh, it's not a big deal, you know, nothing." But we had radar lock on us, so like the rocket launcher was heading towards us, and like so then the rocket launcher goes to the flare.
Wow.
So there's there's 2 guys on the plane, and they're protecting each other, you know. So
That's
they'll send off
crazy.
flares, yeah.
So, if you don't know, Sarah's a comedian. That's why she's over there.
Yes.
Doing these. How many trips to over? Now, where have you gone? Afghanistan?
I've done 10 military tours for the troops.
Right. And does it pay?
Yeah, I mean they give you a stipend, but it's not like you're not going to get
Yeah, I
rich off of it.
understand that. But and how long are you gone?
Usually I'm gone for like 2 weeks, so they give you like almost like a per diem basically, so that. But then they take care of you while you're over there. Obviously, you don't have to pay for anything. And
now, what's the biggest show you did over there?
usually, let's see, Afghanistan. We did a show at Camp Leatherneck, which is their big base down in the Helmand province. We were in the south, where like. The South is a little bit more settled and reserved now. It's actually where we're pulling out of.
Yep.
Like most of the bases are turning back over to the Afghani National Army now. So
They're finally getting out of there?
yeah. So
You
like,
think for real?
I mean, we'll probably never be out of there.
Yeah.
You know, because honestly, like before we went into Afghanistan, we found out that this is like, I don't think it's widely reported, but there's the largest untapped resource of lithium is in. So they're like Iraq has oil.
Yeah, now they got lithium.
Lithium is what makes batteries, and now we have the electric car, right? Which is
Yeah.
all lithium batteries.
So we'll just kill them again.
Well, I'm sure that it's partly in a way to most of the time what they say, you know, what we do is we train their army.
Yeah.
And we give them supplies and stuff so that there are instant allies.
Yeah.
That's what supposedly
Remember
we do.
about 7 years ago, Bush said the war was over? Remember that day?
Remember the day he said it started for no reason in Iraq?
Yeah. You're like,
Didn't
what the
attack
fuck is
us?
going on here,
It's
man?
very confusing. When I was in Iraq in 2005, we had only been there, I guess, a year or two. And Iraq, we had just captured Saddam when I got there.
Right.
And so he was still alive and he was being held. And I'd be like, where are they holding him? And they're like, we can't tell you. That's classified.
Yeah,
But then they would like nod their head in a certain direction. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. And we would do like crazy shows like for, I remember we did one show with for the Special Forces, which was like up on this hill overlooking Bayat, which was Baghdad International Airport.
Yeah.
And that's where like the green zone is that everybody talks about. There's like the heavy duty area, and Saddam had 2 palaces below, and then he had 1 palace, and the Special Forces were staying in on top of the hill because they were the lookout, and they and that was like Saddam's girlfriend's palace or whatever. So the Special Forces were there, and we had to take jeeps that the lights weren't turned on. We took like 4 jeeps up there to this road in the middle of the night. And these were the Special Forces guys. They were the first guys into Iraq. Right. They took Afghanistan, and then they were the first guys into Iraq.
Yeah, they're the ninjas of the army.
Yeah, and so you can't take any pictures of them because no one can know what they look like or anything.
Right.
So it was also the scariest show I've ever done because all the shows that I ever do, people have like all the guys have their guns on them all the time.
Yeah.
But in this show, no one had a weapon because they don't need weapons to kill you.
What?
Yeah.
They just know weapons, really?
They don't need weapons to kill you. They can kill you with their finger.
The dudes?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Special
other
forces.
people have weapons
Most people.
little ways away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your hands can't
Well, there's
reach.
definitely weapons within
Right, I gotcha.
the house.
Yeah.
But it was super unreal because here you come from doing show after show after show of like everybody's got their rifle on them.
Yeah, then nothing.
And then nothing.
Now we met at the Comedy Store,
Mm-hmm.
but we've saw each other about a year ago backstage at a Counting Crows show.
Yeah.
And so you've met
An accounting crows?
Counting Crows, right?
I thought you said accounting crows.
The Accounting Crows.
It's my favorite math band. Yeah, Counting Crows.
Yeah, so
So you're friends with...
David Emmergluck, the guitar player,
Right.
and the drummer, Jim Bogus. They both played in my band.
And what was the name of your band?
Dean Delray.
No way.
Fuck yeah. But I played with those guys
Right.
for years. What happened was Emmergluck was in early form of Counting Crows and then left, when they were kind of Berkeley College band. And then as they got bigger years later, he came back. And Jim was drummer in Sheryl Crow. Oh. And when they fired their drummer, they hired Jim.
Okay.
Because they had a drummer for the first few records, the August and Everything After and Long December. That had a different drummer. Then they canned that guy. So those guys joined up, but they're both Berkeley guys and played my group. When you were there, now you met Adam Duritz there, or like, where did you meet him? At one of the USO shows?
Yeah, Adam and I went on a USO tour together to Germany,
right?
With Jeff Ross, and the Friars Club in New York sent us. It's actually the only USO tour I've ever done. Most of the tours I do are with Comics on Duty, which is a very like small company that focuses on the FOBs, like smaller military bases that don't normally get entertainment. Because like the big bases always get entertainment because they're the safest.
Yeah, right. So the big stars go to those.
Yeah.
And
So when you actually when I remember when Jessica Simpson did her big like USO show, they showed her getting off and on the plane in Kuwait. It wasn't, but it looked like Iraq, so you wouldn't know.
Right.
It was just
all
up.
press,
Yeah,
right?
it's all press.
Just bullshit.
But this one was for wounded warriors. And,
that's great.
So we went to this, the big military hospital in Landstuhl and Ramstein, which are these 2 bases in Germany. And like whenever you get hurt in Iraq or Afghanistan, the first place you go is to that base.
Oh, wow. They just fly you to Germany?
Yeah, if they can't, they sew you up as quick as possible, and then they'll put definitely all the extreme cases go through there, and then you have to wait there until you're safe enough to fly all the way back to America. So it's basically like a halfway point,
right? Like
between the U.S. and
like guys that lose arms and stuff,
big time,
right?
yeah.
Wow.
So we ended up doing a Wounded Warriors show there, which was like mostly a lot of PTSD. Like one
What's
guy
that?
had his balls smashed in a cannon or something, but
Balls smashed in a cannon?
or like something fell, like a piece of equipment smashed his balls. Yeah.
Did he actually tell you that?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, my balls are gone.
No, he didn't say they're gone. He just got, yeah.
He got new plastic ones, you
I
think?
have no idea what happened, but
Wow.
we're just asking everybody what happened, and I visited a lot of hospitals, so it's really important to ask people what happened because the more they tell the story, the easier it is for them to talk about.
Yeah, especially when they come back home.
Yeah, Bob Hope used to do that. Bob Hope used to meet the guys in the hospital, and every guy who's in the hospital, like the last thing they want to do is call their mom and tell them what happened. So Bob Hope would get the story and then call their mom for them.
Wow, that's cool. Now,
so
was Adam playing music over there?
Yeah, so he probably wants to say he was doing jokes because he thinks he writes all of my jokes now.
Oh.
But so we did a show for the Wounded Warriors, and then we did a show for the staff because the staff is so like downtrodden because they see people die like
that's brutal,
every day. You know, they never know if people survive once they get to Bethesda, or at the time, I think Walter Reed was still open, but it was closing.
Right.
So Adam played piano, and I remember we were going over there, and Adam's like, gosh, I haven't played my songs in so long, because he writes them and then gives them to the band.
Yeah,
he doesn't play them anymore.
Yeah.
And Jeff Ross goes, well, you better remember them, or it's going to be a longer December.
Yeah. Oh, Jeff Ross coming with the jokes.
Yeah, all the time. But it was like Jeff, Adam Duritz, Colin Kane, and then Robert Klein was there.
Yeah.
And Stewie Stone, like a couple of old Friars guys. And it was so funny because it was just nonstop. It was like being in a room with two grandpas going at it.
Oh,
you know? Like I'd be like, hey, Stewie, nice jacket. And he'll go, old money. And then Jeff will go, old coat.
Old coat.
Like it was just nonstop.
Did you guys sing with Duritz?
No. I mean, he didn't.
You guys are back there. One more day up in the canyon.
But what was funny the whole time is like the old guys, like they have no idea what this band is. That
they're like, what's with that guy's hair?
Yeah, they're like, what's with his hair? And also like, why is his song such a downer?
Yeah, right.
Just because they're slow, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, it was like a part, like here we are doing comedy, and then Adam comes up in the middle and plays a couple of slow songs. But one time he did sing Oh Susanna a cappella, which was so amazing.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, just like his boot and the microphone. And he told us about a time when he had to sing that when the lights went out at one of his shows.
Right. And power went down.
Power went down, yeah. So he remembered that from camp and then sang the
What's
song.
your favorite Counting Crows song?
I would probably say Omaha or Holiday in Spain. Like those.
Oh, yeah. I love Omaha.
Yeah.
Omaha and...
Omaha.
Yeah, what's the three?
America.
Three. No, wait. Shit, I forgot. There's one on the first record I really love. I can't.
3. I like Rain King. I like.
Yeah, Rain King's great. Mm-hmm. It's a slow one. Blue. Or what is it called?
Oh, I don't know.
I gotta look it up.
Yeah, I have not. Like honestly, when I just went to their show in Orange County.
Yeah.
And like I remember like the big ones, but I never had Counting Crows records or anything.
Yeah, I had the first two. I love them.
I think I might have had the first one, but I don't even know if I did.
Rockers don't listen to my show right now are like, fuck those guys.
I know.
I listen to everything, you know. That record changed my life because I was playing like rock and shit. And then that came out, and the Wallflowers won Headlight. And then I was starting to get into like, oh, this is some cooler... not cooler, but this is some cool music to play. And then I started thinking, wait, I could learn guitar and just play all over the place. In coffee shops or whatever. I don't have to play at a big venue.
It was real chill music. It's totally like Berkeley, stoner, chill music.
Yeah.
But I until the concert a couple weeks ago, I didn't hardly know any. I realized.
Perfect Blue Buildings. That's the ones I love.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So I literally went home and like downloaded like 3 of their albums because I didn't own any of this stuff.
Right.
And so
Which one did you get? The first 3 or something?
Yeah, and I got the covers one from last year, which is weird, but I don't mind it.
The only thing I hate about Counting Crows is like he doesn't sing the songs right. And
in live?
Yeah, like he'll just, like say it's around here, he'll be like, over there on the mountain.
Yeah.
I see heaven round here. You're like, what song is this?
He'll change the stride of it, you mean?
Just the melody.
There was one song that I loved. I can't remember. I was going to look up the name of it, but like it was from the Covers album, which is like the whole reason that I, something with the Angels, like Clear. But anyways. The Wallflowers were opening for them.
That's right, yeah.
Which is so crazy.
Yeah, well, they did that tour originally in 96, I believe. Or, maybe 90, I don't know, 93 or so. I have no idea. Years are just wrong with me all the time.
Yeah.
I'll listen to the podcast later and be like, that fucking was in 94. You know what I mean? But whatever. Wallflowers
Right.
were, and those guys did a tour when they were both fucking huge, and it was a massive arena, like shed tour.
Yeah.
You know, those big sheds all summer. And I'll never forget the last night of the tour, they did Conquer Pavilion. And while Wallflowers were on, Counting Crows dressed up as circus animals and shit and came out on stage while they were playing, like Barney and fucking a tiger.
Yeah. So
you know, because
silly.
you do tricks on,
Yeah.
stuff,
on the
on bands on the last night of the tour. But
So
that was a
funny.
huge tour. Now you're friends with Big Rich, right?
Yeah, John
How did
Rich.
that happen?
John Rich.
John Rich. Big and Rich was the name of the thing, right?
Kenny and I, it's Big Kenny and John Rich. And Kenny and I are, I would say, acquaintances, but John and I, John's like my brother.
Where'd you meet on a USO tour?
No, I met John. He was a customer of mine at the Four Seasons.
Oh, yes.
When I was a waitress at the pool.
So before you started, or when you moved out here, you were working at the Four Seasons, like Sebastian.
Yes.
Sebastian.
Maniscalco. Actually, I started working at the Four Seasons about 4 years into 4 years into living in LA.
Yeah.
And it was like a year because I moved to LA to be an actor. I never wanted to be a comedian ever.
Really?
No, I didn't even know what it was.
How'd you find out about it?
Someone just kept my friend Poetry, who I used to DJ weddings and bar mitzvahs with. He was like, "You are so funny. You have to do comedy." And I'm like,
Poetry? That was his name?
Yeah. And that was his, he's a slam poet.
Yeah.
He was like
shit.
the one on the first Def Poetry Jam.
He was?
Yeah. But he, so he was just like, you're so funny. And I never even heard that before. I think because I'm so sarcastic that people in the South were always like, yeah, very funny, Sarah. That's not funny.
Right.
And so, because people take things a little seriously down there. And so...
I like how you just switched into
I know. But like I remember like in college I worked on Album 88, which is the largest college student run radio station in the country, and that was at my college, Georgia State in Atlanta.
Were you a DJ? Mm-hmm. Oh, dope.
Yeah. So I then I started doing like this Friday afternoon show, and we interviewed all the comics that came through the Punchline. Every once, like whenever a new comic would come in.
Oh yeah, you do college radio.
Yeah. So we interviewed lots of people, but Mitch Hedberg was the first person to ever give me tickets.
Wow.
So that was the first comedy show
You
I
met
ever
him?
saw. Mm-hmm.
And what was that like?
It was awesome. He was so fun. We just hung out with him for like an hour and a half. I think the show was supposed to be an hour. He stayed for an hour and a half just chilling because like we just want you guys to talk.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like normal
yeah.
morning radio where it's like people
where
are
you're promoting
competing.
shit. Yeah, fuck
or
all
people
that.
are like competing to be funnier than you. We were all just like, this is so cool. Like you're a professional. We're just in college, you know?
Wow.
But it was such a laid back vibe. I mean, like Album 88 is also where REM started and Arrested Development, like all these, a lot of UGA, like Athens type bands started through there. Biff and like Dido.
So-
I remember meeting Dido before anybody knew who she was.
Dido. So you went and saw Mitch?
So I went to see Mitch and it was awesome. And
How it was good?
amazing. The funniest thing
He's
I'd
like
ever
one
seen.
of the few I didn't see, you know?
So amazing. And then I just never even saw comedy again until I 2 years after I moved to LA, I started stand up on a dare because I was like super I just needed to do something because I was raised in the theater and I was raised like I grew up acting.
Yeah, you were raised performing.
Yeah, I grew up in like my mom made all the costumes in my plays and my dad built all the sets. Like it was like super small town shit. And then I studied theater in Paris when I was in college.
Wow, you did?
Yeah, and just like act like different forms of acting. And then I moved to LA to be an actor and I couldn't catch a cold, so I started stand up on a dare.
And where'd you go on at first?
The first place I went was this place called the Hot Wired Cafe on Laurel Canyon in Riverside, and Nick Youssef ran the night.
Really?
Yeah.
The Hot Wire Cafe.
He was his like open mic show. I mean,
Wow. How long ago was
it's
that?
not even around anymore.
Right, of course.
That was 10 and a half, almost 11 years ago.
So you're 11 years in. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
So you went down there, and do you remember any of the bits you did?
The first joke I ever wrote, I still use.
What is it? You still use it?
I still use
Let's
it.
hear it.
Yeah, because I was the whole reason that I even had a joke was because I was watching TV in my little studio apartment, and this news story came on about this guy who had shot himself in the head with a nail gun.
Oh, yeah.
So I talk about this guy the nail ricocheted off of the whatever he was, like a tree thing. I don't know what he was building. And it went up into his eye socket, up into his brain, and all the press freaks out. They're like, I can't believe you didn't feel it. And I was like, well, I wouldn't be able to feel 3.5 inches if I got nailed, so what's the big deal?
Whoa.
It's just a stupid pun, but like it worked. And it was something for me to always get a laugh on.
Was that the only bit you did?
No, because it's obviously a longer bit.
Right.
No, I don't even remember. The other ones were like just talking about traffic, I think.
Yeah.
And
and being single.
No, I didn't even do any of that kind of stuff when I first started. My jokes were just jokes when I first started.
Just kind of one-liners?
Just kind of one-liners.
Wow.
And like I didn't grow up on comedy or anything. Like I had no idea what it was. Like I thought Roseanne started comedy after her TV show.
Right,
I had no idea that's what it was leading up to it.
That's what a lot of people think. They don't know that the people were grinding at the store for years.
And I just like started going to open mics all the time because it was a great outlet for me. It felt like I was doing something in this town. I had no idea it would take me anywhere. I never thought it would develop into a career. Right. And then people just kept booking me on stuff. And then it just
How'd you get
out.
past at the store?
I had been there.
Were you going there every day?
No, I was. It took me 6.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I started doing a bringer show at the Comedy Store when I first started.
You were running a show?
No, I wasn't.
You were doing the bringer shows.
I was doing the bringer shows, like in the belly room, but always the belly room. And who
were putting those on, like Jerome Clear or something?
I did Jerome's show on Fridays, and then I helped him start running that show. Right. So I had a reason to be there every Friday, which was great.
That's great, right?
Then,
you get stage time. You don't have to bring anyone.
And on Sundays too, like Adam, the teacher, the comedy teacher guy, Adam, I forget, but he did a show on Sundays, and every once in a while I would do that show. And then Peter Sprite hosted a show on Tuesdays, and I would do that. And then I kind of graduated out of the bringer show, and then I just started helping Jerome run his show. So I was always around, and then I was dating Aaron too. So like whenever he was there, I would kind of go and hang out as well.
Yeah.
So and not around him. I would just hang out with other people.
Right, yeah. You're just going down, spying on him, make sure he's not sleeping around.
Yeah, no, not at all. Oh my God, no. But he gave me a really good piece of advice when I was there. He's like, go watch Chelsea Handler and see what she does.
Oh, she was in there a lot?
She had just been passed, and she was sticking around, and he's like, what Chelsea does is she goes and she's funny and she leaves.
Oh.
So that's what I started doing. I would just go and be funny and leave because it was a really harsh environment back then.
Right.
But I would always just go and be funny and leave. And then, after a while, I didn't want to run the rooms anymore, and I couldn't do bringer. I had graduated from that, and I started running my own rooms, and I was booking all these people from the store on my rooms. So I was like, gosh, I'm just like not getting any up at the store. So I just started doing the open mic. Like 6 years into doing stand-up, I started doing the open mic.
Sunday, Monday potluck.
So I would come in, and then they were like, why are you doing the open mic? You can just go up during friends and family. And I was like, what? This is amazing. And so then I would just come, and then finally Tommy was booking me at La Jolla for 2 years before he passed me.
Right. Yeah, getting you ready. Mm-hmm. I'm going to kill this fucking fly flying around my hut.
So it took me a really long time, but because I couldn't work the door or run the phones because women couldn't do that.
What?
They still can't.
Really?
Yeah, you don't know that story?
I don't know that story.
Oh, well, back in the 70s when Argus and Mitzi were kind of fooling around.
Yeah.
They were both like on coke, and Argus started roughing Mitzi up in the parking lot, and Sam Kinison was working the back door.
Oh, that's right, and he saved her.
He came and beat up Argus and saved Mitzi, and so ever since then she's like, only men can work the door.
Oh,
which means the phone lines, because they all switch around, and because her husband cheated on her with a waitress, like the waitresses couldn't do comedy.
Wow.
Yeah, so I couldn't be a waitress and I couldn't be a door person. So, that's how most people got in there.
Yeah,
their journey a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
Like it took me twice as long, basically. Most guys, it takes like 2 to 3 years.
I just went down there and stayed for 3.5 years every day.
Yeah.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know. But that's what it is. Like, then, like that. But that's why I know whenever I watch the lineup, the people at the Comedy Store, you're like, this is going to be a great show because the people performing here want to be here.
Yeah, they earned it.
They earned it.
Yeah, yeah.
So like when people say, I did the Comedy Store, I'm like, what room did you do at the Comedy Store?
You already know they didn't do
it's the main room.
Yeah,
I know it's the main room or the belly room. And I'm like, was it the main room on Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, because that's the only room that they book.
Yeah.
So
it's such a like snobbery, right?
It is, but I immediately
people
know.
use it as credits all the time, and you're like, don't, I always say, don't fucking snowball your credits, because, they're like, performing at the store again, I mean, you could say that you are, but it's like, they make it look like they work there all the time, and you're just doing bringer shows.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I understand how it works. I'm not being a dick or whatever, but
no, I remember those days when I had
exactly, you do.
try to do
but
that.
the thing is, it's like I'll see it on people's flyers, and they'll have like a wall flyer, and it'll say Comedy Store regular.
Regular, I know, and I'm like, a regular. That's totally different. Like
I would never do that. So you're working at the Four Seasons. You met John Rich.
I did.
At the pool, and what was he hitting on you?
No, he. Well, I mean, I don't know, but who knows? I was wearing like a little white tennis skirt, so you have to assume that sometimes people are just hitting on you. But
that's pretty hot.
He heard my accent, and I was like, and he was like, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Oh, I'm from Georgia." And he goes, "Well, Miss Georgia, are you an actress?" I said, "No, sir, I'm a comedian." I said, actually, I'm a comedian. He goes, I love comedy. And I said, I guess that's why you ordered a Chardonnay. And he laughed and then asked me if I could give him a DVD of like all my comedy stuff. And I was like, yeah, no problem. And I was like, oh, so I like had to go home and like put it together. I was like, I'll get it to you tomorrow. And I brought it to work and I gave it to the concierge and I said, Mr. Rich needs this in his room, which is like so against the rules.
Ooh.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to give anything to a guest,
Yeah.
So he called me 6 hours later.
Wow.
And he said, this is so funny. He's like, can you write jokes about country artists? And I was like, I was like a year and a half into comedy. I was like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and
who couldn't actually? Yeah. That's pretty easy. That's shooting fish in a barrel, right?
Yeah, right. So I sent him a joke every day for 6 months, every day, so that he wouldn't forget me.
Wow.
And then after 6 months, he asked me to come and do his birthday party, which was in January. So yeah, I met him in the summer. So his birthday party in Nashville, and I go out there. He like flies me out there and puts me up, and I perform at his birthday party. And it's so nerve-wracking. It's like this. It's like this is like when "Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy" was huge. Like their one big song,
Like a giant.
Yeah. So he's rented out this huge bar in Nashville. It's packed full of like all these big people,
country stars.
Yeah, and the first person I see is Kix Brooks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Kix Brooks, I'm a huge fan. But I can never remember which one is Brooks and which one is Dunn, which one has the mustache and which one doesn't, which one actually tames the white tigers and which one doesn't do magic at all. I always forget.
Me too. I always like, which one has the puppets?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He did not think that was funny. And I was like, you didn't think that was funny? And he goes, and the whole crowd is silent because he's not laughing.
Right.
And I'm like, I was like, you didn't think that was funny? And he's like, nope. And I was like, well, maybe I didn't tell it right. I'll tell it again. So I told the joke again. No. And at the end, I added, well, it's just easy to remember you are lovers because you can't spend 20 years together and not at least make out on the red dirt road, which is the name of their big album.
Yeah.
And then from then on out, like, still no laughter. John, by the way, is dying laughing in the back. Basically, I'm doing a roast without even knowing I'm doing a roast because I'm telling jokes about these people to their faces.
Right.
And some people aren't there and they just don't want to laugh. Like if I'm making a Faith Hill joke, or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And so
Nashville is so political too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you laughed at that girl's joke, you don't play on my records ever again.
Totally. So it
weird.
was like I couldn't I was just bombing and bombing and bombing. The band started playing cricket noises behind me.
Really?
Yeah, it was really bad. Finally, I get off stage.
Were you nervous? Like,
oh my God.
Sucks.
I was like, this is the worst thing ever. And then, of course, John is just the only one laughing. And then Brian McKnight like went on after me, I remember, and like he was just like great, you know.
Oh my god!
And then I ended up getting hammered, and Tanya Tucker like made out with me a little bit at the bar.
Oh really?
Yeah. It was
Tanya Tucker made out with you?
Yeah.
This is a great story. I'm like, how old is she? Like 90?
Oh, I know. She's probably 50, some 60.
Well, you get tongue?
No. She just was like, these sons of bitches don't know what's funny.
Wow.
You tell them to go fuck themselves. You're hilarious. So she loved it.
Right.
She just like, I think she loved how uncomfortable everybody was. I think that's really what she loved.
Well, that's what I like about you could push country guys' buttons. Now, Rich comes to the Comedy Store and sees you whenever he's in town.
Every time.
And he brought that one guy to, what's the...
Cowboy Troy?
Yeah, the black guy.
The black rapping cowboy?
He had the biggest belt buckle I've ever seen.
Oh, my God.
It looked like a bulletproof shield. Not like the old, like Troy, you know... the
Captain America shield,
that kind of shit. Troy or Gladiators. His belt buckle was as big as that, man. It was like you pull it off like, no, motherfucker.
Yes, half not.
Now you like country. Who's your favorite?
My favorite country artist?
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough because I like a lot of...
I like Jamie Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
High cost of living. Ain't nothing like the cost of getting high.
That's awesome.
Guy's great.
Well, you know who I met at John's house was Freddy Powers. Do you know Freddy Powers?
I don't. Who's
Freddy
he do?
Powers used to live on a houseboat with Merle Haggard for 14 years up on Lake Shasta and helped him write all of his #1 hits.
Wow.
And now he has Parkinson's and he's like in a wheelchair, and he was like living in an RV in John's driveway.
Wow.
Because John was like helping take care of him. And but he can still sing really well.
Well,
so
that's great.
he just gets stoned all the time and sings. And John has a big stage, like a big like 250 seat theater at his house.
Yeah, he's got like a sound stage. And
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
right?
it's so fun. And so we always party there because it's just
What happened
nuts.
to that one girl, Gretchen Wilson? She
was
gone?
No, she's got a new album that just came out, but they're all part of the music mafia.
Right,
you know?
of course.
So Freddie is singing this song "Natural High," which was one of Merle, like "You put me on a natural high."
Yeah.
And then Gretchen got up there and sang it, her own version, and it was so fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, so I became like a Freddy Powers fan, but I like nowadays I really like Zach Brown or like the Dixie Chicks. Like I like lots of instruments.
Oh yeah,
in my
Natalie's
band.
great, right?
Yeah, Natalie Maines is so.
I love
a
that
rock
one
star.
record with the fly and all that. Now Jim from Counting Crows played with the Dixie Chicks before Counting Crows.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's
And now
awesome.
my friend Fred played with Dixie Chicks, who was also in Wallflowers. It's weird. It's kind of rotating drummers. But
Well, Rick
Dixie-
Rubin like helped with like 2 or 3 of their albums.
Yeah,
Like,
I went and saw Dixie Chicks and the Eagles at the Nokia Theater when it
wow.
opened. It was great, man.
They can jam, and those sisters can play so many instruments.
Yeah,
and
one
that's
of them's pretty fine, though. One sister, I think she
They're
plays
both-
banjo. She's kind of hot.
They the banjo, fiddle, electric guitar, like steel
Yeah.
guitar, like it doesn't matter. Like
I
violin.
like the gangster country. I like alt country, like Lucinda Williams, Ryan Adams, Wilco, Sun Volt.
Yeah, I don't really. I liked Ryan Adams' first record, but I just heard his second one, this last one, and it was kind of boring to me.
Well, you got to be.
Yeah, I got to be in a specific mood to listen to that.
It's like Sunday night rock.
Yeah,
you put it on.
I grew up on '80s country though, so I grew up
80s country, like
on,
big hits.
like Randy Travis was like a huge. My sister was like in his fan club. It was the first concert I ever went to.
The bigger the hair, the bigger the hit.
Yeah, well, Conway Twitty, Colin Ray, Glenn Campbell. Southern Nights is like one of my favorites.
Glenn Campbell, did he have like a rhinestone? Did he have that one?
I think that
like
was
a
his.
rhinestone cowboy.
Yeah.
Bam, bam.
I just skipped the other day. I bought well, I have Eddie Rabbit. I like Eddie Rabbit, and then Ronnie Millsap. Do you remember Ronnie
my
Millsap?
God,
It was just like all these like
you just
old
listen to
guys.
like parents music.
Yeah, although it totally was. It was like my
parents'
dad's
music.
favorite music. In the 80s, it's like I was, I was like from between 2 and 12.
Right,
So,
parents' music.
yeah.
So things are going good for you. You, like, if people don't know, you wrote on Jeffrey Ross's The Burn.
I did.
So you write on the roast. Now, what? Run us through. Like, I had Benji on.
Okay.
Benji wrote also on the roast, and I had Tony on. He also wrote on the roast. Tony Hinchcliffe, Benji Aflala. You like writing on the roast? Is that kind of writing that you like to do, or what's it about?
Sure. I mean, I like writing
You like
jokes.
paychecks, right?
I like paychecks. Well, I really just help Jeff. So
Right.
literally, we just we sit around and we all just like fuck around in Jeff's backyard and just come up with everything. So. And then, yesterday, like Tony and I were writing together.
Yeah.
Because we write
on
as a
the
team.
James Franco stuff.
Yeah, we were writing stuff, I think, about Jonah Hill yesterday.
Oh, ripping on Jonah Hill?
Yeah. We're trying to do jokes that weren't fat jokes, so...
Well, yeah.
hard.
It's kind of the easy go-to.
It's the easy go-to. That's why we were trying to not do them, because I'm assuming everybody else will.
Right.
Apparently, he has like a weird like burn on all over his arm.
Oh, really?
And like nobody ever really talks about it, and I don't know if we're allowed to, but I'd really like to tear into his ass for that.
Wow, what a burn.
Yeah.
Remember when he got
Fuck that.
skinny and they had a stylist put skinny jeans on him? It just looked wrong. I'm not ripping on him. I like the guy. But don't hire a stylist. If you live in fucking LA and you're a dude, just wear some jeans, a t-shirt, and fucking call it a day.
Yeah, I know, right?
Don't hire a stylist that puts on a dumb tie that's half tied, some shitty blazer that looks like, it was in a garbage can. Ooh, you look hip now.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck off.
Yeah, I'm not really into the way hip is supposed to look right now. Like, I think I constantly have my comedy uniform, which is jeans and Converse and a t-shirt on.
Yeah, I saw you dressed up, and you said you dress up on what, Friday? Saturday nights?
Saturday nights in the main room.
You looked hot.
Oh, thank you.
It was like, what the fuck? Remember you came in, it was like, who's that girl?
Yeah. Well, only on like TV do I dress up, or then for the main room Saturday, because classically the main room on Saturday nights was like the big night at the Comedy Store and everybody dressed up.
Right.
So when I first started doing the Comedy Store, that was like still kind of a thing.
Right.
And so I feel like I'm still one of the few people maybe that does it.
Girls don't dress up when they're comedians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I try to not dress messy, because I really hate that part of female comedy, which is like bragging about being a whore or something, or being a slut, and like that's funny and I have a loose vagina. It's like, no, I expect to be treated like a lady. Just because I like sex, I don't think that makes me a whore. I think you should treat me like a lady, because I treat you like a fucking man, with respect and with dignity. Yep. And somehow that has been lost. And like, if I expect a man to pay for dinner, all of a sudden I'm weird. And I'm like, no. If you can't take care of this, you can't take care of anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
how many times do they got to pay though?
Not every time.
All right.
Normally, like on the first date, like if I enjoy dinner, then I'll be like, oh, there's this great place for dessert. Let me take you there, and I'll pay for dessert.
Right.
But it's like this whole like splitting it, and then like it's just so awkward. Like, you invited me here, so you should take care of it.
What about midway through the meal? There's no way you're ever gonna sleep with the dude. Do you just pay half?
No.
You know,
no, it's not my fault.
It's not my fault. This guy sucks.
Yeah,
that's great.
He had every opportunity to woo me onto his side. You know? And people know who I am before they ask me out. Which I think is like a disadvantage to me sometimes. But at the same time, like, I'm not gonna. I would never. It doesn't matter how much I don't like you. If I offered to do something, I would follow through with it.
Right.
You know? Like
this podcast. You don't like me, you came over anyway, right?
But what if you invited me to your house, if I invited you over and made you dinner, and then it didn't go well? I still made dinner and paid for it.
Yeah, it's different.
It's not different. I know that there's like this whole movement now, and it really bums me out, because it's like, I just feel like...
No, listen, let me give you the whole rundown.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of women, not you, in the town that are so used to dudes just paying for everything. Yeah. They just say yes to every guy.
Yeah.
Instead of going, wait a minute, do I really want to spend some time with this guy?
Right.
Or do I just want to get a meal?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. You're not like that. I understand if I asked you out and you said, yeah, you're probably going to be interested. But there's a group of women that just go, fuck it, I'll eat with him for a couple hours and then I'll just go to the club with my girls.
And how do you not detect that woman when you see her?
I do.
Well, are you blinded by her fake tits and her high heels?
Hold on. I understand.
I'm not saying you.
Yeah. Well, dudes are dumb.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Dudes are just as dumb.
So I'm not
they
gonna
get what they deserve. Right. I understand.
But it's also like they get what they deserve totally. If you're not going to notice that girl's going to take advantage of you, you should have to pay for dinner. You should have to pay for a few of them until you figure out you have to pay for your mistake.
Exactly.
But also, it's like I'm not going to say yes to you unless I think that
that's what I'm saying.
I'm worth
That's what's
your
great.
time and money.
That's what's great.
Like that's a respectful thing to do for a man. You know, I also show up on time and I dress nice. And
you did show up on time today.
I'm excited to do. You know, like I do my part. I also take care of myself and get waxes and manicures and pedicures. Like there's a lot of work that goes into looking nice, because I feel like looking nice for your man is also a really important thing.
That's good, right?
Yeah. I want my man to look nice for me. You know, I always say I'll never change a guy. The only thing I'll ever change about a guy are his clothes.
You date a fat guy?
Have I dated a fat guy? Are you calling yourself fat?
Yeah, I'm fat.
Why?
I am fat.
Oh
Get
my
the
God.
fuck out of here.
You know?
Look at that photo over there. I'll show you. I look like another man.
That's so funny.
Now, wait. Recently, a guy dumped you over text.
Over the phone. No, over the phone. Yeah.
Now, it's so funny because you and I are hanging out. We were doing Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And you were so fired up, like, oh, I got a guy. He's great. We just started dating.
He was at Comic-Con with me.
I know, right? And then 3 days later, I'm like, so what's going on? You're like, oh, he just dumped me on the phone.
Yeah.
What happened?
It was literally 3 days.
Now, how long were you guys going out?
Just a couple months.
And then where'd you meet online?
I've known him for 10 years.
Oh, whoa.
We're very close friends.
Right.
And we tried to date like 3.5 years ago, and I just wasn't in a good place. And so I started going to therapy soon after that. And
what was wrong
I really
with you?
figured my shit out. Well, I figured out that like I kept thinking like, man, I'm dating all these assholes that like always cheat on me. Not this guy. Not the guy that I just broke up with me.
Just in general.
Yeah, or like, and then I realized like they're not assholes. Like I'm the common denominator. I'm the one picking them. I'm the one staying.
Yeah.
So there's something wrong with me.
Were you into just outlaw guys or like?
No, I think I was just into a pattern of like, I think ultimately I didn't want to admit to myself that I wasn't ready to get married. So you can be in a relationship with someone, and then if they break up with you, you're always the victim. If they don't marry you, if they don't want to marry you, knowing full well, like in the back of your mind, you don't want to
marry.
Yeah. But instead of being like, I'm not ready to get married, it's a lot easier to date a guy that won't marry you. That way you can always blame him for everything.
That's some game shit there.
Yeah. Well,
that's some woman's game shit, right?
But that's what I figured out about myself.
That's
and I had to figure that out because I was just going to keep repeating that pattern without really truly knowing. So once I really figured a lot of that stuff out, and like you figure out about your childhood and like where a lot of these patterns come from, then it's a lot easier to look at men and be like, okay. So like literally my whole act changed like 3.5 years ago when I started going to therapy, because the more I found out about myself, the more I wanted to talk about myself in comedy. And that's literally the one thing that most people can
that's
relate
the greatest thing, because then people aren't going to steal your jokes, because if they do, you go like, well, that's her, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't talk about anything on stage that has not happened to me.
Yeah.
I'm always 100% honest, and I'm always saying people can ask me whatever question they want, and I'll answer honestly.
So what happened? He it's going good, and then he just calls you?
Yeah,
because I saw you 3 days before, and it's great.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later, boom, you guys break up.
Yeah. So we left Comic-Con. We had to leave that next. I saw you on Saturday.
Yeah, we did the Death Squad show at American Comedy Co., which was great.
It was so great.
Yeah.
And then I had to race back to LA with him because we were having breakfast with his brother and sister-in-law. And so that was great. And then he went and hung out with his brother for the next day. And then I didn't see him on Monday. And then Tuesday, he had kind of disappeared Monday, so I was like, hey, you don't ever like not call me back, so you should just like do that so that I don't feel uncomfortable. And he was like, oh, sorry, can I make you dinner tonight or tomorrow night? And I was like, well, tonight's better because tomorrow night I have a softball game at the comedy store.
That's right, we play on the softball comedy store.
And he was like, oh, like, is that something I can go to, watch your softball game?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, if you want to. Like, I'm not gonna ask you to come to my song.
Yeah.
But if you want to come, that would be great. And you could watch Maverick or whatever, my dog. And so he made me dinner. He like made this huge dinner, gave me a 2-hour massage while we watched a movie. And then I went home because I didn't want to leave my dog. Oh, yeah, we had sex.
Oh, you had sex?
Yeah, and then I went home.
Yeah.
And then the next, I know.
Yeah.
One of the many. It's not like we never did that. Like it was like one of the best parts.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's great.
Wow.
And then the next morning, I called him to see if he needed anything because his car was in the shop, and he's like, "No, I think I'm just gonna hang out, maybe play a video game, and then walk to the gym, work out, and then by the time I'm done, maybe my car's ready." I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll call you later about what time you want me to pick you up from my softball game."
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay." And then 3 hours later, he called me. He was like, "I don't think I can do this."
What?
Yeah.
And then you say why?
Yeah, of course. I said why.
What did he say though?
He said, "This is all just moving really fast, and I don't know where you consider this going because, we're very comfortable and open with each other, so we talk about everything." And he was saying that, like, I had mentioned children.
Oh.
Which I mentioned because we were around children.
Right, yeah. Whoa, you threw a fucking firework in the game.
Well, he also says, like we when we first got together, it was because we were talking about how afraid we were of having children.
Right.
And that made my fear and his fear come together. Like, oh, we're not alone in this fear.
Yeah, that's great. Now,
And
so was he going condom?
No.
No?
No, I don't really do that.
Whoa, what was that? You're like, nah, I'm not into that.
Not really my thing, yeah.
You don't go condoms?
No, I just get tested like after every partner.
Yeah, I know, but but what about pregnant? You're on the pill, but
Yeah.
things could happen.
On the NuvaRing, so it's pretty.
Oh, all right.
I mean, I guess it's still the same, but yeah, no, I don't know. I've never had a scare.
Yeah. So you just did you go get tested?
I haven't gotten yet. I don't have a new sex partner yet. I
Yeah.
mean, I kind of will maybe in the next few weeks.
What?
I just started hanging out with someone
Oh my God.
who's also just got broken up with. So like we've been like,
You're insane.
I know.
You just got
It's
out
terrible.
of one.
yeah, but mine was only 2 months,
Still.
I know. No,
And
no,
how
no.
long was this guy's that?
3 years.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a
see-
terrible idea.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but
You're
we're
setting
really
yourself up.
I know. We're really comforting each other.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so I just, it just sucked to be broken up with over the phone. And
That's
he
ghetto.
just said it was.
So what did he say? He just was
He said it
moving
was
too fast.
He had just gotten out of a relationship, and I kept saying that like throughout the whole time. I was like, "How do you feel about this? Are you
Yeah.
okay? Like, I know you just got out of something." He's like, "Yeah, fine." But I think he is one of those guys that hides behind his smile. Like, you
Yeah.
never know if he's ever having a bad day because he's always in a good mood and
Right.
happy, and we always have a great time. And so he said, when we first started dating 3.5 years ago, like, you started going to therapy and you've really worked on yourself and figured out who you are. And he's like, I've never done that. And I think I really need to do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, actually, yeah, that made me really happy that he
Yeah.
was kind of motivated to do that because he saw the work that I had put in. And he definitely has a lot of unresolved anger.
Yeah.
And, he's a teacher too. So it's
Oh
like,
yeah, no
he's
money.
always dated really.
You got out of there good. No money.
But he's also like always dated like 25, 26-year-old girls, and he's older than me. He's 37.
Yeah, they're shitty in bed though.
Yeah, so I don't understand. Like, he's like, so that's his pattern, is dating people that he knows will never agree to marry him because they're too young.
Yeah. Well,
So
well.
we all have patterns, is what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Now, I'm not going to bring this up. I'm going to wrap it up here, but you got catfished, and I want people to hear that story
Oh,
on
yeah.
Ari Shafir's Skeptic Tank.
Love
Tune-
scam.
Yeah, tune into that episode on Skeptic Tank, Ari Shafir's, because that's a great story,
It's a crazy
too.
story. Yeah.
And I don't need to repeat that. I'd rather just have them hear that episode. You've been on Chelsea lately
4 times now, yeah.
4 times now. That's
In a
fantastic.
couple weeks, I'll be on the.
Yeah, that's great. And has that been helping your draw? Because I know it helps a lot of people's.
I think I have to be on there maybe like 10 times before
Right.
it really helps my draw. But definitely more people recognize me from it, which is nice.
That's great.
I'm getting noticed a little
And
bit
she's
more.
cool.
Yeah.
I've
Chelsea?
never met her. Yeah.
She's well, I don't ever see her when I'm at the show except on the round table. That's literally the only words I speak to her. But she's pretty fantastic. She's in total control over there, which
Well,
is great.
she's totally helping out comedians,
yeah,
man. I mean,
very much so.
That's like giving back way beyond,
Yes.
you know? So that's super cool.
Especially all the writers, and then they're like the writers of Chelsea, and then
Everybody.
they have the After lately. The writers are on that.
That's
too,
great,
which is
right?
And like Jiffy Wild, who's on there, like he was like not even a comic.
Yeah.
and he is now.
Yeah.
He's-
Just awesome.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good that she does. And then also on E, I'm on a show called The Soup Investigates, which I guess I did the pilot, and which aired, and it's the best work I've ever done. It's basically The Daily Show with just correspondence.
Oh, wow.
But it's about pop culture. So I'm like investigating whether or not Storage Wars is real. I'm taking it very seriously.
Oh, that's cool. You're like a man on the street thing on
correspondent, yeah.
Wow, that's great. Who else is on there?
The other people who were on the show were Eli Olsberg and Michael Costa.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then Joel McHale hosts it. It's really fun. So I'm sure it's online. It's the best work I've ever done. But they just got picked up for 6 more episodes. So I'm waiting to find out if I'm on all of them or any of them.
Oh, that's great. Wow, congrats.
Yeah.
So where can everybody find you? On Twitter?
Twitter's the best way to get a hold of me.
Yeah.
At Sarah Tiana, Sarah with an H, Tiana with a Tiana, Sarah.
Tiana with a Tiana.
Yeah.
And you got any, what do you got coming up? I mean, this won't come out for a few weeks, but you're at the Comedy Store all the time.
I'm at the Comedy Store all the time, and then my dates are online at sarahtiana.com.
I love you, girl. Thanks, and tell your dog I said hi.
I will, for sure. Thanks, Dee.
All right, there you go, Sarah Tiana, guys. Make sure you find her, seek her out, and watch her on Chelsea. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see ya.